Lincoln. Uh, we didn't see Mason Cobb at practice yesterday. What's his status, and if he's unable to go, how much do you see that kind of changing Eric Gentry's role, given that he was moving around so much, in the first game?
Yeah, Mason's been limited for us this week. Hasn't been a full participant in practice. Be questionable for the game. Just kind of see how he moves around today, and obviously here we got a little bit extra time recovery now with the later kick. So we'll see. It'll be close. Yeah, I mean we still if he's not able to go, you certainly still have Eric and Easton. Obviously that next group of guys. Desmond Stevens, Rajon. Newbie, Madden, that group, it would be a combination of all of those guys if Mason's not able to go. So obviously I hope he can, but if he can't, it'll be exciting to see some of those guys get an opportunity.
Luca?
Hey, Lincoln. Sorry, camera's not working, I think. But wanted to ask, you mentioned the importance of kind of establishing the run game, last week. And obviously, a little bit of ups and downs in that first game against LSU. Just, what are your thoughts on kind of developing a little bit more consistency there, what you need to see from the O-line and from the backs to really kind of get that out on a good, foot to start the season?
Yeah, we had a lot of just really good solid plays on it. Obviously, some of the best ones were there at the end. We had a couple of explosive runs, which was great. Had a couple that we felt like we had a little bit more there. Probably an opportunity for a few more explosives in the game. But I thought we were pretty patient with it, just with the way that the game unfolded. I thought it got better as the game went on, and yeah, that'll continue to be a work in progress there in terms of getting our guys on the same page, the offensive line, the backs. I think getting a feel for what our guys do well and settling into these games and playing a little bit more consistent there. But yeah, a lot to build on. There's a lot of good. Again, it's a challenging defensive front that we played against, and a lot of positives. Certainly, kind of like the rest of the team. Several things though that still need to be cleaned up if we're going to run the ball this season the way that we feel like we can.
Connor?
Happy birthday, Coach. Two quick questions. Any other injury designations, and do you have an update on the captains for this week?
No other injury designations. No, we'll name those on our Fridays before the game. So don't have any to announce right now.
Shotgun?
Hey, Lincoln, Barry Alexander's a guy that's shown flashes of dominance in the past. What do you need to see more from him to play up to his ceiling on a more consistent basis?
I don't think we need to see anything more. It's just we just got to keep competing, keep playing, keep getting better. He did some really good things in the game the other night. He's had a really good week of practice. It's we've got we've got a handful of guys there in those interior positions that we want to play. Some of that's going to be based on matchups. Some of that's going to be based on the way the game flows. Some of that's going to be based on obviously how guys practice and how they continue to improve and elevate their games. And I would put, all of those interior guys kind of in that bucket right now. And the Bears doing some really good things. I think I feel like he's really starting to get settled in with what we're doing defensively. Having missed the spring, I think he's improving a lot as a player and excited about his progress. So yeah, now just kind of the normal ebbs and flows a little bit of the season. But I think he's on a good track right now.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Lincoln. So Saturday is going to be the first time in almost 5 calendar years that Miller has started a game on consecutive weekends. Just how much growth can we expect from him, and in what areas do you expect him to grow as he starts to stack game reps?
Well, I think he'll just continue to grow in just being in all these different situations that these games are going to present. I mean, in the games that he's played in, he's been in some situations. He's handled obviously most of them very, very well. But that's going to continue to evolve as you get into all these different ones. So I think, every rep for him, every situation that happens in the game, every different matchup is just another chance to learn and to continue to grow as a player. And so And then I think always, especially this time of year, you're always, learning the guys around you. You're playing more ball with this offensive line, with these backs, with these tight ends, with these wideouts. You're learning, all of their kind of their ways of doing things. How do you throw this ball to this guy? What's the exchange feel like with this back versus that back? I mean, so I think you're always as a quarterback trying to learn your team, especially early in the year. So yeah, a lot of growth for him ahead. I don't know that it's always going to be measured in stats and maybe all the things that the outside people would see, but it's more, I think, of running the group and then handling all the different situations and challenges that come our way.
So, thank you.
Jack?
Hey, Lincoln. On Sunday, your leading passer, rusher, and top two receivers were all in their fourth year or later. I'm curious what you think a performance like that says about, having veteran players, and maybe what it says on behalf of veteran players across the country with so much focus on younger guys, it seems like, on the outside.
Well, that's important. I mean, it's not a luxury that we've had in large part, especially in these first couple. And so we're starting to get a team of guys that have developed, and not just older players. The majority of those guys, not all, but the majority of those guys are older players that now have been with us a little bit. And that matters. It does. It matters in big time games. It matters in clutch situations where these guys have got years stacked on of experience, of confidence, of reps that they can go lean on in those moments. And so that's why, kind of we've talked about this big picture transition more and more away from, the portal and more to becoming a truly developmental program that we want to be. And that's, that's why you want it, right? Is anytime you can have experienced guys, and then the bonus is experienced guys at your place that have gotten their experience with you. The more of that you have, the better. And we're definitely taking some strides there as a program. And I thought that showed up some on Sunday. I mean, there wasn't many times where you felt like we just had like a ton of inexperience on the field, a little bit here and there, but by and large part, quite a bit of experience out there.
Thank you.
Antonio?
Lincoln, you mentioned Desmond Stevens earlier, and I know he's somebody that kind of looks the part as a freshman. What's been your early impression of him so far? What you've gotten to see from him?
We've been impressed. We're really from spring on. He's kind of felt like he's belonged the entire time. He doesn't look like a true freshman in terms of the way he competes. He's learned our defense fast, and we've got a lot of confidence in him. Now, he'll have opportunities that are going to pop up or that he's going to create by continuing to improve as this year goes on. But yeah, he's certainly a guy you look at and can envision him. He's going to have a bright future here. I think we all, if he stays on track and stays hungry and keeps improving, we all see that. But he certainly is going to have an ability to impact this team right now. And so looking forward to him hopefully getting some of these opportunities and getting to play in some games and getting ready to show it, because there is a real talent there that you're pretty excited about, because he's a pretty mature competitor for his age, and he's physically pretty mature. Like, he has the tools capable to make an impact early on.
Mark?
Happy birthday, Coach.
Thank you.
How much more do you enjoy coaching the type of game against LSU, competitive, hard fought, to typical USC blowout win when you're putting up a lot of points? And then also, did the team do anything special for you that you can talk about for your birthday?
I haven't seen him yet, so hopefully nothing crazy. Hopefully we just have a good practice. I'll take that as a good birthday present. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously positives of both with the types of games. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think if I had to pick, I would pick, a game like that comes down to it. I mean, I think that's what you work hard and prepare for. Certainly never disappointed if we separate in a game and win, and you're able to play a bunch of guys and all that. I mean, that's great. Wins are all pretty good, but yeah, I mean, I think to get in those moments, in tough games where you got to go find a way and you got to play, 4 full quarters. You got to be able to play complementary ball. You got to execute in critical situations on all sides. I mean, that's what you do it for. I mean, as a competitor. So no, those are definitely the ones you remember the most.
Thank you.
Ryan?
Hey, Coach, happy birthday.
Thank you.
When you look at Utah State quarterback Bryson Barnes, obviously you guys saw him last year
Mhm.
when he was with Utah. Does that help having that tape? But obviously, new system, new team. So how do you take that tape and then also preparing for kind of a dual threat that he is? I think he had 88 yards last week rushing. How do you prepare for that?
Yeah, no, good question. It's there's some give and take there, right? It's nice that you've been on the field with the guy. You get to, see him throw the ball. You get to get a sense for who he is athletically. So I think that's helpful. Like you said, it is a very different system than what they were doing at Utah. And so, it's not like you can take everything from that game. But no, I think it's helpful anytime you've been on the field with a guy and a guy like him that's been a very good player. We got to see him play well, have a lot of respect for him as a player. He did a nice job coming in the other day. Obviously led them to victory. Had a huge scramble that he popped, a long touchdown run, and offense really executed well when he was in there, which is no surprise. So yeah, a lot of respect for him. We'll try to learn everything we can from the tape last year, and then certainly be ready to apply it to him this year. New scheme, new school.
Thanks, Coach.
We're gonna wrap up with these last hands. Luca?
Hey, Lincoln, happy birthday. Wanted to ask in the off season the video call to Mike Williams with Matt Leinart and the hire there. I know that was something that was pretty unexpected from Mike's end, just in terms of getting that initial call. I mean, just what was the decision to hire him, and what has he brought to this staff that you really feel like is a connection to kind of the legacy of this program?
Yeah, we had that position open and had gotten to know Mike a little bit, and um, knew what a good job he was doing coaching down in Florida, and just we felt like that there would be some real interest there on both sides, and we had some initial conversations about what the role would look like, and the opportunity to bring Mike back home and get him in a position where he could be very impactful within this program. And so yeah, just conversations started ongoing, and we visited with a lot of people, but we kept coming back to him and felt like that he was the best fit for it. And I've said many times, one of our big deals here is to continue to honor and have a great relationship with our former players, the former coaches, the people that have impacted this program along the way. So kind of I think a dual win, and that we were able to find somebody we think one is going to be outstanding at the job, and he's done a great job with our players so far, but also to continue to have some Trojans here in house and some people that gave a lot to this program made it just an obvious choice, and it's been great to have him so far. He's done a really nice job.
Ryan Kirchie?
Hey, Lincoln, with revenue sharing incoming, athletic departments across the country have clearly tried to find new revenue streams, selling sponsorship ads in stadiums, or I know there's been a lot of talk about like jersey patches, commercialized changes like that. I guess I wonder, as a lifelong fan of college football, where do you think that line should be drawn between, keeping tradition versus, earning more revenue to help the football team, but being maybe a little bit more commercial?
I think you can do both. I don't think it has to be one or the other. You see it happening in professional sports all over the place, and some of the very most storied successful franchises and organizations have been able to still have all the history and tradition and all you want, but also adapt to our new world, because I still think we're all in a little bit of a adapt or die scenario where, and not it's not that dire obviously, but I mean you can't just sit there and, oh well, this is how we've always done it, so this is how we're going to do it. I just think that's I think the wrong mentality to have as a program or as an athletic department. I think you got to find a way to balance both, and I think we got good enough people here to figure that out. I know Jen and everybody else feels that way, and that's always the balance here. It's been the balance I think that I've battled with some here. I know Jen battles with it some, is we do have so much history and tradition here at SC, and that's never going to go away. It's incredibly important, but we also have to understand that the world around us is changing, and we can't just sit there and only live on everything that's happened in the past. And so it's on us to find those balances to honor that, but also make sure we're not doing anything that would hamper our ability to continue to climb, not just as a football program, but a whole athletic department.
Thanks.
Mhm.
And we'll wrap it up with Antonio.
Lincoln, this is kind of along the lines of RJ's question earlier. Uh, Miller didn't have a senior year of high school with reps. Was that something you noticed early on, kind of maybe, I guess, to catch up development wise when you first got here?
Yeah, my impressions of him when I got here, I knew he had some physical work to do. Changing his body, getting a little bit stronger. I was really impressed with his mind. I wondered what his ceiling was as a thrower. I could tell early on he was very accurate, but he didn't quite have some of the pop that he has now. So yeah, I mean, I think I didn't see him play in high school before that. I remember seeing him on tape. I didn't see him play live, so I don't know that I had like a great barometer of like, all right, where was he in high school, then when I saw him, and then now. But yeah, I mean, it didn't physically. You could tell that he needed some development mentally. He was probably in some ways maybe more, maybe less affected by COVID just because he's really smart. And I think guys that, miss those reps, you could go in COVID, you still go train, you can still go lift, you can still do all that. You can go play football. But I think he was probably mentally better equipped to get through not having your senior year of high school than most.